Now, a court in Chhattisgarh has dismissed the man's divorce appeal. The man had alleged that his wife deserted him due to his financial condition and went to her parents' home within months of being married. But it turned out that it was the wife who was being subjected to torture owing to her dark skin, and it was the husband who had deserted her instead. The Chhattisgarh High Court ruled that the choice of skin color cannot be incentivized and that the society as a whole must work to rid itself of a skin tone bias. We have my guest Sanjay Chadha joining us. He's the constitutional expert to talk us through this ruling. Mr. Chadha, the Chhattisgarh court says that the entire society of human race needs to change the dialogue at home, which may not promote the fairness preference of skin. Is this an order which finally gives some legal weight to fighting social discrimination against dark-skinned people?
Well, I will concentrate primarily on the aspect of, divorce cases where if this kind of defense, this kind of plea is taken that dark skin is the reason for desertion, then I think there is no such ground mentioned in any of our laws, whether it is in Hindu law, whether it is any other, the divorce laws all across the communities. This kind of plea is not allowed. First of all, but what is happening, which is very
We also have Abha Singh joining us, advocate and social activist. Abha Singh, in court, the court went on to say they are likely to portray a dark-skinned woman as an underconfident and insecure person who's unable to secure success in life until someone suggests the use of a fairness cream. So this is, they were referring to stereotypes propagated by cosmetic brands about women with darker skin. Should ad industries take note of this judgment? Is the perception that's propagated by the ad world, which has a huge influence on such biases?
Absolutely, you hit the nail on the head. There are so many creams which talk fairness creams, skin lightening creams. In fact, even big companies like Unilever, Procter & Gamble, L'Oreal, in US, they don't sell creams which talk of skin lightening or whitening, but in Asia and Africa, Middle East, they sell these creams, and after Fair and Lovely faced the backlash, I think after that they removed that ad. So definitely black skin people have been made conscious of their dark skins because of these ads. But if you see the Hindu Marriage Act, because if I come to this Chhattisgarh High Court order, the Hindu Marriage Act section 13(1)(a), it clearly says one of the grounds of divorce can be mental anguish. And definitely, if the wife says that she's being called dark by the husband and again, so then it's a form of mental cruelty. So not only 498A talks of, IPC talks of mental cruelty, but Hindu Marriage Act for a ground of divorce under 13(1)(a) also talks of mental anguish. So the courts have been right in passing this observation and rebuffing the husband's plea, saying that it was he who was facing cruelty, but the wife's stand has been upheld. And I think this order will definitely make these advertising agencies conscious, the government conscious, that if such ads even come, then Ministry of INB needs to step in and stop these ads which try to make dark-skinned girls complex or promote marketing of these creams on the names of whitening and skin lightening.
Right. When we talk about recourse, there is absolutely often no recourse for those who experience skin tone biases. Should there be stricter laws in place is the big question. Sanjay Chadha, if you'd like to respond to that.
Most certainly. And what Abhaji said is very true and correct, that we all have to come up together. And even in this judgment, the Chhattisgarh High Court said that there is a need of dialogue. What I wanted to say earlier, I want to add it here. What was happening up till today, and it is very shameful, rather, I'm using the word shameful. Why? Because it is happening that if you desert the lady because of the skin tone color, then after 2 years you have a ground that the person has deserted, and in that course this is a ground of divorce. In all the laws, 2 years time, if you live separate because of this particular reason also, this is a ground. But what people do is they give a exercise. What they write is that they don't write that because of this reason they have left. They write some other reasons that we have left it because of this reason or some other reason, and that desertion become a ground. So we need to really think over and very rightly put across that there is a need of dialogue, government and NGOs, social workers, everybody. And first of all, primarily, we all have to sit down and see from our family. It has to begin that this is the need of the hour also, and which primitive era we are living if this is what is we are doing.
Absolutely. When we take into account, there's a multi-billion-dollar skin lightening industry worldwide. WHO has called it a global health crisis. A WHO study found that whitening creams have side effects that could severely damage whether it's your kidneys or even your brain. And yet, the lightening industry, as far as those lightening creams are concerned, they're just growing, and it's just colossal as to the number of people. And it's just not Indians, but even people living in Africa are, resorting to these creams. When we talk about, is there a larger social media impact when it comes to this judgment? Can this judgment break the grounds when it comes to the impact of, say, the ad industry? Will they take note of this judgment? And also the social media, will that also, take cognizance of what's happened here?
What I feel, social media is always instrumental in this in any kind of jan jagran, awakening of people, if I may say. And it has a very important role. People now, with the way we are moving, in every hand we see that the telephone is there, and everybody is a lot of impression, lot of things are happening as far as the social media is concerned. So yes, we need to awaken up these people who are, I don't know why this is continuing, and we need to have stricter action against the people who are promoting this kind of activities, promoting this kind of products, I think. And government need to, if at all, as you said, that these creams have impact upon the skin, not only on the skin, but also on the other vital parts of the body, then there is a need to take a very strict action against these people, these industries who are really growing at such a pace since last so many decades. We need to now awaken and take action against them.
Right. The impact that one sees of these filtered pictures, especially on young girls as young as 10 years old, pre-teens wanting to use makeup, wanting to look fairer. How could this judgment be harnessed to spread awareness for a more larger social impact? Abha Singh.
Of course, in fact, there was another judgment of Karnataka High Court some time back where the husband was given divorce because the wife was calling him dark all the time and demeaning him. So I think this issue now needs to be really looked upon, because it's not just Chhattisgarh, but it's Karnataka High Court and various other courts. And if you see creams like Neutrogena or Garnier, which you and I may have also used, they also have a whitening section, lightening section, lightening of dark spots. So I think it's time a healthy debate takes place. These multinationals which have been minting money on the false promises of making dark skin light and making dark girls conscious, they also need to step back. And the government, the Ministry of INB, which is handling all these guidelines, they need to come with some censure guidelines saying that these creams would not be allowed to come with ads if they're trying to make the girls conscious. And you're very right when you say even girls as young as 10-year-olds, they are saving money to find out creams which will make their dark skin light. So a tender age which is there to be happy to get into education, if it is being made conscious of its dark skin, I think that is a very serious issue. The laws need to be tightened, and we have strong laws. We have strong laws where, in fact, it's a fundamental right that nobody can be discriminated on the grounds of color, creed, and sex. So it says color. So even on the grounds of color, dark and light, you cannot be discriminated. But in marriages, it is there. More dowry is asked if the girl is dark, if the girl is not beautiful. And this has been going on. So that is why in 498A, which is called an anti-dowry law, there also we came with mental cruelty. And mental cruelty is calling your partner dark, fat, ugly. So I think these laws are there. We need awareness. We need to start a debate, and execution of these laws is very important. Strong punishments need to be meted out either to these MNCs if they are going to promote these creams on the basis of color, or marriages where the either spouse is derogating the other partner on grounds of color.
Right. Abhasik, you mentioned that division bench of the Karnataka High Court recently ruled that a wife insulting her husband due to his dark complexion amounted to cruelty under the Hindu Marriage Act. So when we talk about Article 21, which, is the right as far as the right to dignity. So we don't see people, being, in fact, when we talk about people, when they are talked about, when they're harassed about their skin color, nobody ever drags those people to, say, a police station, or they drag them to court. Shouldn't there be stricter laws in place?
You have asked it to me? Yes. I'm sorry, Abhay.
Right. Mr. Chadha, please go ahead.
Yeah. Article 21, as you have rightly said, it is right to life. Right to life means right to live with human dignity. And this is what is happening. If on the basis of your color tone, they are discriminating. This is discrimination only. You are degrading a person. That means it is basically very, very not in line with Article 21, number one. And I want to add one thing here, that yes, laws are there, but stricter implementation of these laws are not happening. Why it is not happening? That people who are suffering, that if a person is suffering, he is not coming forward. He says, okay, leave it like that. We have to awaken up. We have to come up. All these people have this right, that nobody can degrade them like this, and they should come forward. And the moment they are coming forward, once we have precedents, we have cases where people who are misusing this kind of thing, they will be punished. It will act as a deterrent for others. I think stricter as well as the education, both has to go hand in hand, and I think then we will come forward out of it.
Right. I was saying the notion of darker skin tone versus fairer skin tone is usually delivered to children at a very young age and reinforced by social media. But, the Chhattisgarh High Court has gone on to say that the dialogue must change at home.
Absolutely, the dialogue needs to take at home, because when a child is born, it is the mother only who starts putting the uptan. You have the uptan with those paste of haldi and all those chironji. You try to rub paste on the girls if they're feeling that they are dark, and also the very fact that if the dialogue starts, that's why the court says, Chhattisgarh court rightly says, start the dialogue at home, because if you're going to pressurize the girl child from a tender age, that keep putting paste, because that uptan which is put to lighten your skin, that itself sends a wrong message. So I think the parents need to be taught, every generation needs to be taught that accept the skin color, and dark is beautiful, everything is beautiful, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, which is rightly said. But issue is in the home only, the mothers have to change, the grandmothers, the nuskhas of grandmother, that you have to put a paste to look beautiful. Why should there be so much premium on beauty is something I need to talk about. We need to talk about, and intellect and brains, that is what is important. If we come and say brains and beauty, why are we talking of beauty all the time? So the premium on beauty needs to be reduced, stringent. The television, the social media, that is what is spreading all this. So this needs to be also curtailed. And for that, I think the NGOs, the stakeholders, the government, the women organizations which are handling women issues, activists like us, we need to come forward and instill confidence in our little girls that it's cool to be dark, because life is not about fair or dark, but life is about values, life is about education, life is about your education.
Right, absolutely. What is this unfair obsession with a fair skin? That is the big question. And a matrimonial ad in the paper will often read, require a fair and lovely bride. I doubt you'll ever find an ad that reads, require a fair and lovely groom. With that, we end this discussion. We'll be back with a whole lot more on the other side.